morning, everyone. I hope you are having an incredible Tuesday. I'm going to apologize in advance because I am sick. So I'm kind of like losing my voice, and if you see me blowing my nose while we're going through this, that is why. And if you have kids in daycare or preschool, then you absolutely understand my pain. It's so funny because I literally feel like I am sick every 2 weeks. I get like a new sickness. So it's a fun time and I'm hoping this summer is a little bit better. I am just going to go ahead and add Melissa. So we're going to be chatting with Melissa today. She is one of our past students who absolutely crushed it in our program. And I love sharing these lives with you and these student success stories because I know it's so easy to think, okay, well, Nicole had success and maybe she's the anomaly, but I want to show you some of our students who have come through, learned what I have to teach, learned how money works, and then just absolutely. There we go. While we're waiting for her, I can start and just introduce kind of what we're going to be talking about today. So Melissa actually took our Income Multiplier program. Income Multiplier is, I'm going to say, like level 2 or a step up from the Make Your Money Moves method, which is our signature program. So Make Your Money Moves method is incredible. It teaches you how to save more without restriction, how to make more without working harder, how to start investing, all of that fun stuff, really teaching you how money works and how to use money for your benefit. Income Multiplier is a step up from that, where once you know how money works, once you have, savings that are growing, you've paid off your high interest debt, now you are ready to start building those multiple streams of income and using those savings to create passive income, increasing your active income with side hustles, all of that fun stuff, through negotiation tactics and all of that stuff. Nicole sent you a request to join. I sent you a request as well. It says you're unable to join. Why? Let's see. This is always my biggest fear. I'm like, oh my God, everyone's watching me. Is it going to work? Hello, Melissa. I see your steering wheel.
Oh, hang on one sec. I just need to flip it.
No problem, honey.
Um,
There's like a little like arrows that are like reverse and right in the kind of middle of the screen there.
Hang on, let me see. Sorry, one sec.
No, that's
Ah,
okay.
there we go.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I am so good. Thank you so much for joining me today. I was just
Yeah.
giving everybody a little bit of a kind of background information about the program that you joined, Income Multiplier, but really wanted to jump in and share more about you and then get into talking about your experience in the program. And I know you have done so many incredible things, guys. Melissa actually worked with us back in 2021. So I love seeing the progression over the past few years and how you were able to take everything that you've learned, have some massive wins while you were in the program, and then just continue that over the last couple of years. And I think it's so great because this is exactly what I say, guys. Like, I want to change your life while you're with me for these 3 months or these 4 months, but I really want to continue to change your life after that. I want to give you the tips, the tools, and the strategies to succeed, like, forever. My voice. Forever on after that. Sorry, I was telling everyone I'm sick, so I
Oh,
apologize if I
okay.
lose my
No
voice or
worries.
I'm like blowing my nose here.
It's okay.
But amazing. Okay, so if you have been wanting to start investing, if you've been wanting to build passive income, then you absolutely have to watch this live. I am joined by one of our star students, Melissa, who went from being confused and overwhelmed with her finances to learning how money actually works, negotiating a 30% raise using her strategies, which is just phenomenal. And she actually increased her net worth by over $30,000. Okay, $30,000. After our program, she was able to learn how money actually works, the importance of investing and getting your money to work for you so that you can have more freedom. She gained the confidence to get back in the workforce after 6 years of being a stay-at-home mom. I love this for you so
Thank
much.
you.
She negotiated a 30% raise, invested $10,000 in stocks. She's currently making $700 a month in passive income through her TFSA, so that's all tax-free. That is all tax-free. She built a $20,000 emergency fund and she started a side hustle to build more freedom and time for her kids. So this is just absolutely incredible, Melissa. Thank you again for joining us today. I think people are going to be so inspired by your story. So why don't you start off? Tell us a little bit more about yourself, who you are, where you're from, all that fun stuff.
Okay, sure. So I live in Surrey, BC. And so my story was it's a little bit different, and hopefully after like hearing my story and everything, it'll give maybe other single moms or other women some more power to kind of follow their dreams and give them some confidence moving forward. So basically, when I started following Nicole, I had a friend that was like, "Okay, I seen this girl on Instagram and TikTok. You have to follow her. She's like super awesome. She's bubbly. She reminds me of you. You gotta like watch this." And yeah, and I started following Nicole and like I was like hooked. Like you have the best vibe and I love learning about money and stuff. So anyways, I was freshly out of a 10-year marriage and I was separated. I had two young boys. I was a stay-at-home mom and I was kind of like, what the heck am I going to do right now? Like, I didn't know what to do, where to go, how to do it. And yeah, and basically you just gave me the confidence to kind of get started, which was super cool. Um, so what I did is the first thing I did is after I took like your freebie courses and all that kind of stuff, it kind of opened my eyes to getting your money to work for you and all that kind of stuff. So the first thing I did is I sold my house with my ex, so I had a little bit, I had a pocket money, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do with this? How do I get this to work for me? All that kind of stuff. So I bought a townhouse, and I knew I couldn't afford to live in it because I wasn't even working at the time. I had like a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old that they were my number one at the time. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to get jumped back into the market. And I just rented it out for 3 years. So I lived in a basement suite. Every like amount of money that I made, I just was investing it. So I was living for like half the cost that I would be in the townhouse. And then I had a renter in there. And basically, she was just paying my mortgage and just creating money for me until I could afford. Now I'm in there. Now I can afford to be in there, but you got to take a step and you got to get in. So that was kind of like the first thing that I did. And then the more I learned, and it's so true, like the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. Like you actually don't. Like I was going down crazy rabbit holes at like midnight trying to figure out all this stuff, reading novels. Like I was learning, it was like my mission to learn as much as I could. And I was so excited about it that I started investing in the stocks. Even in, like you said, there were some months where I could only afford $50 or $100. And I did it. And then I ended up making enough money that I set aside to start investing into a MIC. And that's like my biggest investment. It's a TFSA MIC. And that is been growing like crazy. And it's cool. Like you said, it's free money. It's my hard-earned money that I'm adding to it, but it's creating money. Like I don't touch the drip right now. I'm trying not to. But I'm hoping one day I can, if I need it, it's there, or I can stop working early and then I can just live off that, right? So
Exactly. I love that.
yeah,
And you touched on so many important points right there. The first one was, you're talking about how you bought this property and, it's a property you wanted to live in, but at the time it didn't make sense financially.
no,
So instead of stretching yourself, instead of putting yourself into a position where you would have had the dream house, but you wouldn't have actually had the dream life, and I don't even want to call it a sacrifice because I hate when people say that it's a sacrifice because you're not giving something up and not getting anything in return. If you give something up and get something better afterwards, I don't consider it a sacrifice. So you
right,
realigned your expectations, you realigned your actions to fit your values and your goals. And you said, and this is, I think, such a smart thing. It's called house hacking, right? Where you're living in one unit, you're renting out the other. And maybe people would think, and I've had actually a lot of students do this, a lot of clients do this, where they'll buy a multi-unit property, they'll live in the smaller one, rent out the bigger one because they're able to net a higher monthly income off of that, cover
right,
all of the expenses for the property, and then they either, essentially live for free. So they have more money that they're able to save and invest, or it gives them that opportunity to continue putting themselves, like you said, into a better financial position so that you could get into the dream part of the home. And like I did something similar in my own kind of life progression as well, where my first property was not like, if I was like, this is my dream home, like that would not have been my dream home, right? But I bought the property because I saw a lot of potential in it. I felt that it was undervalued. I felt that it was in an area that was about to explode. It was walkable, transit accessible. And as you know, Toronto kept getting more and more expensive, I saw people moving a couple streets out. And I'm like, this area is going to, oh, my sound dropped. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. I hope everyone can hear me. Basically, I was like, I think this area is going to explode because of the proximity to transit, the proximity to the city, and the size of the units and the price, especially the price of, thank you, especially the price of my ADD. I'm like, what
No,
was
that's
I talking about? Especially on the price of the units. I'm like, you know, even in comparison to everything else that was around it, it was a really good value. There was obviously some reasons for that. I mean, I've talked about this before. There were flaws with the property from like a financial perspective. So it was actually a condo townhouse, and it was on the CMHC do not lend list. And it's like, why? What's going on? And it looked like there was financial mismanagement from the condo side because they had a huge loan against the condo corporation. This freaked CMHC out. So they're like, no, we're not going to provide mortgage insurance to this property. Because of that, prices dropped drastically and people were not able to get in and purchase a property there because they weren't able to get that CMHC insurance, and they would have had to have at least 20% down on the property. But when I talked to the property manager, because I'm like, this is just too good of a deal, like I need to understand what's happening, talk to the property manager, and they're like, no, it's actually discretionary. We took this out because we are going, it's not because, you know, we didn't have enough money to pay our bills. It's because we're going to be updating the entire condo. So the condo was built in like the 1970s and they were beautifying the entire grounds. And I'm like, holy shit, they're going to be forcing appreciation in this property. And I don't have to do any work for that, right? I can do some work in my own unit, but the value of the building is going to go up once they do this. And once the loan comes off and CMHC is able to come back here again, like it's going to explode, especially with the location and all that stuff. Again, it was, you know, living through construction. It was maybe in a place that not everybody would want to live. It had a little triangle balcony. Like I remember friends coming over being like, I would never live here. It doesn't have any outside space. And I'm just like, well, that's okay because I'm going to live here for a couple of years and I made $150,000 profit off my investment. I flipped the property and that gave me the funds to be able to buy my next property. And basically what my whole thing is instead of, you know, oh, you don't have to do this, but if you really want to set yourself up well financially, instead of trying to buy your dream home, buy the home that will give you the money to get your dream home. So that's what you did, right? You went in there, you got the money, you had the opportunity to save more, invest more, build up that passive income. You realigned your actions to your values. That's what I'm going to call it now, and not sacrifice, right? And then you were able to realize those dreams, give yourself more money to put into those other passive streams of income. And now you're making $700 a month in passive income just from building that up. And like, guys, like I said, she started in 2021. It's 2024. Like it does take a little bit of time to start building this stuff up, but if you never get started, you will never get there, right? And that's the biggest thing that I want people to take out of this too.
And that's the thing, right? Like, I don't want to say I started from nothing, but I mean, if I'm sure people that have, you know, been married and been divorced or separated, they'll understand. Like you sell your home, like literally, like I sold my like beautiful 4,000 square foot house, and I'm now in this tiny little basement suite. But I seen where I could go. Like I had to somewhat sacrifice space. So I was like, okay, so I can buy something and I could be mortgage poor and have to work full time when my kids are toddlers. I can lose that time with that. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So I am happy with what I decided to do. I was in a tiny little basement. So it was new, it was clean. It wasn't like it was gross or anything. However, I owned a house, but I just didn't live in it for almost 4 years because I seen the outcome. And guess what? I got to spend so much time with my kids. And to me, that's way more valuable.
Exactly. So, and this really reminds me of like the saying of like, do what others won't so you can live how others don't, or whatever it is, or can't, or whatever. Because again, like I said, you know, how many of my friends would come over and see my condo and be like, I would never live here. I would never do this, right? And the same with your situation. You're like, okay, I had this like gorgeous 4,000 square foot home, and you could have gotten the dream home on paper, right? You could have went and done that and been mortgage poor and had to work full time and not have that time with your kids. And yes, you would have thought, some people will think like, oh, well, it's making me happy. I'm buying happiness. But this is like a common theme that I talk about in a lot of these lives, whereas we think we're buying happiness, but in that instance, you would have actually been buying yourself sadness because you would have been closer to the goal of that home, but you would have been further away from your true values, which is family and freedom. Right. So by doing that, you would,
Absolutely.
right. And I think that's the biggest thing that people need to
Yeah.
understand. Like spending money is not the enemy. Spend money on things that you love, that make you happy, that light your fire, but truly make sure that the things that you think are making you happy are actually making you happy. Look at what your values as an individual are and rank them and understand, what a trade-off cost is and what an opportunity cost is. We can have everything, but we might not be able to have everything at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, yeah, and I think that's just, I'm very happy with how I did things. And, it's like there's even a part of me now where like, I am like, should I sell my house now? Because it's doubled in price. Do I sell it and buy like a tiny home and then I could like literally barely have to work at all? Because I enjoy the time with my family. Like that's what I
Yes.
want. That's my happy. That's my why. And
Yeah.
like I seen I think it was a story you posted about not all like the glamorous stuff and how to get to where you want to be.
Mhm.
And like that's exactly kind of where I am right now. So like I'm still working my office job. I'm still raising my two kids and I'm
Mhm.
doing my side hustle right now. And like, I know it's going to pay off, but right now I'm at that hard where I'm literally
Mhm.
working two jobs. I'm working through the night. I see the goal, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I am at that spot. However, I know it will pay off. But like, if you
Yeah.
don't start and you don't try something and you don't give it a whirl, you'll never know. And then you'll always be in
Mhm.
the same spot,
100%. And I think it's
right?
important to remember too is like a lot of people, they'll see the success, they'll see the highlight reel. Like even with me, right? People are like, oh wow, she was a millionaire at 30, like it must have been so easy. The steps are 100% easy, and it does get to be easy, it does get to be simple. But there is going to be hard work that comes along with it, right? Like exactly like you were saying, I worked my corporate job while I was selling real estate and I saved everything. And then I went and I was selling real estate and I was working all day, every day. When I went from selling real estate to starting No Budget Babe, I was doing both for a long time. I was working full time in real estate, 50, 60 hours a week, plus then having a baby with special needs, getting pregnant again, writing a book and running the business. And it was like, yeah, there were a couple of years there where I literally was like working, doing stuff from like 7 a.m. until like 11 p.m.
Yeah.
every single day. However, now I'm at a point where I can work a couple of hours a week if I want to, right? And I could not work if I wanted to. I mean, I love what I do and I love this business, and
Right.
I don't know that I will ever stop doing it because, I mean, even just like you guys, like the impact that this has on so many people. And I feel like I just feel so grateful to be able to be a part of that. And there's so much need for this knowledge. But like I could stop working now if I wanted to. So instead of doing, like I could have done the easy thing before, right? I could have just taken the easy route. I could have been like, no, I'm going to do what I've always done. I'm going to do the thing that doesn't push me out of my comfort zone. I'm going to do the thing that doesn't feel just like uncomfortable and hard, right? But I love the quote that's like, you get to choose your hard. So like I had my hard in my 20s, right? I worked my butt off. I worked hard because now I get to have a soft life for the rest of my life. And it doesn't have to be 10 years of hard. It could be 3 months of hard, a year of
Yeah.
hard, or whatever it is to set yourself up, do those things, right? Do things in the right order. And then you can have all of that freedom or whatever it is that you ever wanted, whatever is your value, whatever is your goal. I truly believe that anybody can have anything that they want. They just have to decide that they want it and be in a relentless pursuit of that
Yeah.
goal.
Like you have to want it. You have to want
Yeah.
it enough, I think you should say, right?
Yes.
You have to want it enough and you have to go for it. And like when I started my candle company, like I had people being like, oh, like that's so much work, or like, because every company has a startup price. You got to pay
Yes.
some money to make money and stuff. And they're
Yeah.
like, well, what if that doesn't work out? I'm like, what if?
What if it does?
So my worst case scenario, I'm like everyone else and I work till I'm 65. Like, what's my worst case scenario, right? Like,
Exactly. That's the
so,
biggest thing. What if it doesn't work? What if it, okay, then I'm back where I am right now. I'm
and then I, and
already
then I,
here.
and
I
then I
might as
try
well,
something else, right?
exactly. I might as well try. You don't want to get through your life. Like the worst thing I feel like is like getting through your life, being 80 years old and looking back and being like, fuck, I should have taken that chance or I should have taken that opportunity. Like you don't get a big life by playing small. You have to,
You got
like
to
I said,
take
you have
those risks, calculated
to
risk, obviously,
calculate it
right?
right. 100%. 100%.
Yeah,
100%. You have to.
absolutely. And you've got to believe in yourself. And I think that's what you are really good at, and your program's really good at that. It's giving you the drive, it's giving you the confidence
Mhm.
to add to your belief in yourself. And you have to go out there and you have to do it. Like, just
Mhm.
go do it, you know?
Yeah.
And see where it goes. And if the worst case you fail, well, guess what? Now you learned a lesson, you learned how to do something better. And then you just go for it. And the thing is too, is like there's a lot of people that see people that are doing those kinds of things
Mhm.
and going, oh, you're so lucky. That's like, no, 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 no. There's no
Mhm.
such thing as luck. Like, dude, I'm doing all-nighters over here. I'm pulling all-nighters. I'm like working 2 jobs. I'm raising 2 kids. Like, none of this is luck. This
Mhm.
is like drive and
Yeah.
determination and all of the things,
Discipline.
right?
Great. For sure. For sure. And
Yeah.
I think it's, you touch on a couple of really important things. Like the one is that, when you fail, it's not actually a failure, right? Like people think, okay, I'm going to do something, I'm going to fail, and I'm so fucking scared because it's going to just reinforce this belief that I'm not good enough or I can't do it or I'm not smart enough or whatever. But the thing is, when you do something and you fail, you get more information about, okay, this didn't work. Now you can try again with new information. A failure is nothing but a stepping stone on your roadmap to success. I have failed so many times. I have fucked up, excuse me, I have fucked up so many times. I have done
Yeah.
so many things where I'm like,
Totally.
I should,
Totally.
but
And
then
then
I
you
learned from
learn.
it. Exactly. Because if
Yes.
you don't learn from it and you just stop, yeah, okay, it is a failure. But you
Yeah.
determined that it was a failure. The action itself, it happening, was not the failure. You deciding to stop trying, you deciding to not take a lesson from it, you deciding to not learn from it is
Yeah.
what made it a failure. The master, the person you're looking up to, the person you aspire to be like, has failed more times than you have even tried,
Yeah.
right? And we need to remember
Absolutely.
that. Failure is not defining of who we are as a person. It simply means we need to learn more and then try again. And that's why I love, having you guys in the program too, where it's like you get to learn from my mistakes. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You get to be like, okay,
Yeah.
is this a good idea? Is this a good idea? Like, no, and here's why. Like, let's look at all of these red flags. Like I had a student come in, she's an income multiplier, and she was like, Nicole, there's this property, I'm thinking about putting an offer on it, and we're looking at the property, and I'm like, no, like, no, we're not going anywhere near this with a 10-foot pole. Like, did your agent ask this? Did your agent ask this? Did your agent ask this? And she's like, no. And I'm like, we need to understand these things before you even think about this, because something is wrong here. Like, there were just so many red flags, and it's like, to be able to learn from somebody else's experiences, I think can be so invaluable and really help you to feeling like less alone on your journey. You know what I mean? Because yeah, like going through this, when I went through everything myself, learning everything on my own, trial and erroring with my own time and my own money, and not really having anyone to like talk about it with, it did feel
Right.
kind of lonely,
Yeah.
right? Because my friends were just not doing the same things that I was. And that's totally okay. Everybody has different paths, but they just weren't doing the same thing. So I just wasn't able to have those conversations. So I love our community so much because,
Yeah.
we get on the calls or we're in the student group and everybody can see like, hey, I'm not the only one going through this. And you're networking with these other people, you're learning from them and learning from their experiences too, because maybe they have a question that you never even thought to ask, or it's
Mhm.
not even your situation right now, but it might be in the future. And now you get to learn from that too. And I just think that in and of itself is so freaking powerful.
Absolutely. And I think, like, I remember when I first started taking your course, and people were like, what? Like, what are you doing? That's a lot of money to spend, or whatever. I'm like, dude, everyone, like, if you don't understand money, get a money coach. If you are going through a hard time in life, go see a counselor. Like, there's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with it. Coaches are
Yeah.
amazing.
Mhm.
People that are like higher than you and know more than you
Mhm.
is that's who you're going to want to learn from. You're not going to want to learn
Mhm.
from the person next to you that doesn't even have what you want. What are
Exactly.
they going to teach you, right? So I think everyone should have a money coach and everyone should go through a program like this because it's crazy.
I think it's, yeah, like you touched on a really important point. Like, I learned so much from my mentor, and I learned from so many of his mistakes and so many things. Like, he was an immigrant from Greece, and, his family came over here and they built kind of this like real estate empire from literally nothing. Like, they had, no money in their pocket, like classic immigrant story, no money in their pocket when they came here, and they were able to build up this huge empire. And really change the situation for them and their family and create that generational wealth and being able to learn from that. Like, I learned things, and to him it was nothing, right? Like, one time he told me about his brother who had bought a triplex, and all of the units needed work, and he would live in one unit and rent out the other two and then fix up that unit and go from that unit to the next one and that unit to the next one, and like fixing them up. And then eventually he did the whole building, and it maybe took him a couple of years because he did all the work himself, but then he sold that. He made $1 million profit. He moved to Bali and he retired. And I was like, holy fuck. He just told me this story that is just like normal for his family.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, there are so many, like, oh my God, number one, like house hacking. Number two, forcing appreciation. Number three, early retirement. Like, these are things that I had never even conceptualized working my regular 9 to 5 job. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this is what I realized. Retirement isn't an age. It's a number in the bank. You can have freedom. You don't have to work a traditional 9 to 5. Like, you can create passive income. Like, you don't have to follow the traditional path. So many of these rules that I thought were like set in stone, I'm like, no, they're only rules because I created them as rules in my head based on what I have seen and had experience with. So when you are able to get access to people that have done things that you have not done, it expands your horizons. It changes the way that you look at the world and the way that you perceive what's possible for you. And I think
Absolutely.
it's just invaluable. Like, he taught me so much, and I am so grateful for that experience that I had in my 20s, because I truly believe that learning those things when I did and opening my eyes, like, he didn't do the work for me, but even just
Right.
opening my eyes to the possibility that something out, like, what?
I
Okay. Like,
know. Yeah. It's like it opens up like a different wavelength in your brain. Like all of a sudden these like new passageways are like opened up and you're like,
Exactly.
oh my God, like this is crazy. And the more you want to learn, like I can't even tell you how many books I bought from Indigo. Like I had like Rich Dad, Poor Dad to like everything.
Yeah.
And it was like I was so intrigued reading it. Like I was like, oh my God, it was just like right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Challenging those societal norms. And
Yeah.
sorry, so somebody was asking if I only work with women. No, we've had lots of men through our program. It's primarily women, like, I'm not going to lie, but we have had lots of men through our program with great success. As long as you like, as long as you're down energetically, in the way that we teach, the way that we approach our students and that kind of thing. But basically, if you guys are considering applying, if you're not sure if it's the right fit for you, or if you're going back and forth between the two programs, like the Making Money Moves method or Income Multiplier, our intake managers are incredible. So just send in your application on our website, and our intake managers will sit down with you and really go through your goals, where you are financially, where you want to be, and help direct you into which program could be a good fit for you, even if that's not with us, right? Maybe they go through and they're like, you know what? I don't think this is the right fit for you right now for X, Y, and Z reasons. Here's another option, or here's another step, right? And the worst thing that can happen is you leave that opportunity with more information about what your next steps should be, right? That's the worst thing. And the best thing is you find out that maybe this is the right fit for you, and we're able to move forward together, and we're able to invite you into the program and see incredible, incredible success together. The best way to reach out, if you go to our link in bio, or you can go to our website, nobudgetbabe.com. But if you go to our link in bio, I think it's the second two links. The first one is our freebies, and then the second two are Making Money Moves and then Income Multiplier. Um, I love that, Melissa. Do you want to tell me, and I know you started your company, so I want to hear more about that. Tell me more about your candle company. What are you doing for that? How is that going? When did you start it? Give me all the tea.
Yeah, sure. So I started it last year. I started it because I love candles. I love burning candles, all that kind of stuff. But I am not big on like toxic ingredients. I love clean living. I don't have any chemicals in my house. So I went down again another rabbit hole and I created a company made, and my candles are made from pure organic coconut wax. And
Oh,
then I
cool.
use pure essential oils and then non-toxic fragrance.
Love
So
that.
I started making it on my own and just kind of going to like markets and all that kind of stuff. And then I now have a team that does all my pouring, and they're actually based out of Calgary. And I have a little warehouse and everything out there, and it's just been
That's
growing
so
slowly.
cool.
Yeah, I'm in about 5 different stores now. A lot of my clientele are real estate agents. I do a lot of custom orders for them for like their closing gifts or their listing
Amazing.
gifts or
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, it's so fun. I love it. And it's freed up my time. I've currently went to part-time at my regular job. And now I can kind of work from home and I do my thing and I get to spend more time with my kids. And
Mhm.
we're going to see how it goes. And yeah, I got a passion for it. I get to create different scents and I love, home decor and stuff. So a lot of my vessels are really pretty. I have like crystal vessels and then I have like the regular ones. And yeah, so if
I
anybody
love
wants to give
that.
me a follow, go for it. It's Melissa Marie Candle Co. And yeah, it's been awesome. So, and I hope, you know, people that are watching this kind of get that oomph that like if you're ever thinking about starting something, like if something's irking you, it's there for a reason. If it's a cleaning company or I don't know, dog sitting or whatever it is, like try it. Try it out and do it. You never know. You may really like it. You may succeed in it, and then you can do whatever you want with it, right?
Yeah. We have another student right now who's actually doing a cleaning company for her side hustle, and she is just like absolutely exploding. We have another student who's doing babysitting
Amazing.
services that is absolutely exploding. And I love these so much. I love your idea so much, though, too. Like after I got pregnant, there were certain scents that like I couldn't burn candles anymore in my house. Like it gave me a headache. It made me
Yeah.
feel really sick. And same thing with like perfumes and everything. I just became really, really sensitive to smells. But that's really interesting. I'm gonna go have to check out your shop afterwards because that sounds incredible. Essential oils and coconut oil, and I love that
Yeah,
so
so
much.
it's
That's
super
amazing.
clean. It's like the cleanest that you could possibly get. Even like my wicks are all natural wooden wicks or lead-free cotton wicks, so it's safe for people that have allergies or respiratory issues. Um, Yeah, I was the same as you. I got headaches. I would buy, candles from department stores and stuff. And I'm like, hey, why do I feel sick right now? This is gross.
Yeah,
So that's kind of what my passion was behind it. And yeah, so yeah, check it
I love
out.
that.
Yeah,
But you
thanks.
saw a hole in the market, right? I mean, okay, so there's one thing like people will be like, okay, I have this passion, I want to turn it into a business. I think that that's great. From like a strategy perspective, though, you saw a hole in the market, you saw a need, you saw a pain, and you solved that pain. The best products are going to be the ones that solve a pain. Right. And the
Right,
bigger the pain, the easier the sell. So if you're
right,
marketing to people who get headaches when they smell regular candles but still want their house to smell like right there is a pain, there's a need, there's a gap in the
right,
market, and you were able to fill that, right? Same
right.
thing with like I love like boring businesses too, like a cleaning service or a babysitting service. Like these are things that people need. If people think that going out and starting a business needs to be this huge complex venture and you need to do like Airbnb arbitrage or like you got to do, I don't know, like just all of the like drop shipping or affiliate marketing or whatever. And it's like you can totally do those things. And some people do have a lot of success with them.
Mhm.
However, some of the best businesses are the boring businesses, just something simple that solves a need, right? Cleaning
Yeah,
driveways, washing windows, like doing things that people need help with, and then meeting them where they're at. So I think that that's really great. And I love that you were able to find something that you were passionate about that also solved a need in the marketplace and grow from there. I love
thank
that
you.
you've grown to having your own little warehouse in Calgary and
Mhm.
having employees. And that is just so cool, Melissa. And I love watching your progression over these last
Thank
3 years. It's been incredible. Melissa stays in contact with me. We DM sometimes, and I'm just like, I just love, like, after our students graduate the program, I don't want them to go away. I want them to keep sharing their wins with me and sharing all of their progress and all that stuff because it just, God, it makes me so happy to see you guys just going after your goals, hitting them, and continuing to grow. Melissa, why don't you tell us more about what is next for you?
Ooh, what is next for me? Honestly, I am going, excuse my language, balls to the walls with this company. I am going in strong right now. So hopefully it just keeps growing. So that's kind of my thing right now. I'm going to enjoy all the extra time, hopefully extra time with my children.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm just going to see kind of what life has in store. I'm just going to go with it. And I'm at a really good place. I'm super happy. And yeah, we'll kind of see kind of how she goes.
Good for
I'm
you.
still going to
I'm so
continue
happy for you.
investing. I still have like, I put this amount away for my stocks and this amount away in my MIC. Like I'm still doing my investing and everything. Um, that's never going to go away. I'll never, but that is like a passion right there.
Watching
So that
you
will keep,
grow, aren't you just like, this is
it,
amazing? How did I
it
ever
is
not?
It's super cool. It's super, super cool. And like I'm such a nerd. Like sometimes I'll go on like the interest calculator and I'll be like, in 20 years, what would it be? Or
Yeah.
25 years. And then I get excited. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this is cool, right? I do
I
like
love
little
that for you.
scenarios and stuff.
Yes. I love that. I love that because it's a thing like, before you learn how money works, it feels like this big scary thing. But once you actually understand it, you're like, no, this is really exciting because money is simply a tool that I'm using to build my dream life. And by doing X, Y, and Z, I'm going to get all of these things that I ever wanted. And it's going to come to me a lot easier because I am not having to specifically, like, personally work for every dollar that I need to do these things. Like,
Yeah.
now being at a point where I'm like, you know, my house was paid for by my investments. My car was paid for by my investments. My travel is paid for by my investments. Like my food is paid for by my investments. And it's just, it's a really freaking crazy feeling. And again, you know what? It's not going to happen overnight. But if
No.
you never get started, you will never get there. So the biggest thing that you can do, right? Time is more important than money when it comes to building wealth, is to just get started right now. So if you guys are watching this and you're like, hey, I want to learn more about like investing, we have our free investing masterclass. It's phenomenal. It's about 90 minutes. I just talk and talk and talk, but I like to explain things and I like to make sure that everybody has a really good understanding of everything. By the end of it, you should be able to buy your own first stock if you wanted to. We go through sample investing portfolios, the best times to invest. It's a really great place to start your education around investing your money, growing your wealth. And then from there, we also have our paid program. So if you're like, hey, I've taken the freebies, love them, got a lot of wins. However, looking for more support, want to continue to up level my strategies and my finances, you can apply. We have the Make Money Moves method, which is, if you want to learn how to save more, make more, invest more, amazing. Or if you're like, hey, I, have no high interest debt. I am in a position where I have some savings. I want to grow that. I want to start building out some streams of passive income. We use the strategies that I use to create, 6 figures a year in passive income. That's what we teach in Income Multiplier. We teach real estate and mix and REITs and stock market and side hustles and all of these really great things. So you can apply to work with me in Income Multiplier. Any final words for everyone, Melissa?
Just that if you're on the fence and you're trying to figure out your money situation or you just want to learn more, definitely take the program. It was worth every single penny. And like I said before, if you have like an irk in your body and you're just like something needs to change or I need more of something or this has been on my mind for a while, I want to try it but I don't and I don't know, just do it. Just do it, try it, see where it goes. It could lead you even into a different path somewhere. So I think that's definitely my final words. And if there is any other women out there that are, on their own and life is a little bit different or hard, like you're fine, you're good. And you just got to follow your dreams and do what makes you happy. And everyone's happy is a different form, right? So what's happy to you? I don't know, but find your happy and go with it. But at the end of the day, you gotta make sure that you're good on your own. And I don't know if you're find someone and you're with someone, cool. But if you're on your own and you are thriving, like I think that's happiness. That's cool too, right? So
Yeah. I love that for you. I
yeah.
love that you are able to use what you learned to build that dream life and to propel yourself towards financial success and start bringing in that passive income and build out your side hustle and have more time with your babies and just have more
Mm-hmm.
confidence. Like you are literally glowing. I am so
Oh,
proud of you and
thank you.
I am so happy. I cannot wait to have you back inside the group. Melissa's going to be joining us for a couple more months inside of our group. And I love it. Melissa, thank you so much for
So
joining
thank
me.
you.
Guys, you guys are beautiful. I'll probably do an Ask Me Anything maybe on Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday. So if you guys have questions, you can ask them then. But if you have questions about the program or anything, you can email support@nobudgetbabe.com. Again, if you're not sure which program is the right fit for you, if you want to apply for one, apply for whichever one you feel more called to. And then our team will do their best to help you decide which could be a good fit, if any. Awesome.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have
See
a
you
great
guys
day.
later. Have a good day.